The NBA and Adam Silver have banned Jontay Porter for life. The Raptors forward is now done. And truthfully, this has been something that is going to come up, and the league had to make an example out of somebody. They are happy that it's not, a big name, a Steph Curry, the Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, that it's not one of those guys. They got a chance to make an example out of Jontay Porter. So now, per front office sports, here is what we know so far, and ESPN and throughout the investigation, and also the memo that the league put out. That the league investigation found that that Jontay Porter had bet on NBA games, including Raptors games, and that Porter also gave private injury information to sports gamblers, and that the investigation found that he also had manipulated his own playing availability for betting purposes. So um, that's bad. I mean, that's literally as bad as it gets, and he got the death sentence for it. Well, the sports version of a death sentence. And here is what the league has assumed. Well, not assumed, but their investigation has found that Jontay Porter, who's the brother of Michael Porter Jr., who plays for the Denver Nuggets, they found that he gave a better information about his own health status before Toronto's game on March 20th, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And that the league said that another individual known to be an NBA bettor, that he placed an $80,000 bet that Jontay Porter would not hit those numbers in terms of his prop bets that were parlays through an online sports book. So that $80,000 bet would have won him $1.1 million because Porter actually took himself out of that game after only playing a few minutes, saying he re-aggravated an injury. And another one when he claimed an illness, and none of his stats met what the totals were for those bets. But the betting company picked it up with their technology. The bet got frozen and it didn't get paid out. And then the NBA started its investigation. So that in and of itself is the magic question. So leagues, and whether it's the NBA, NFL, hockey, baseball, college sports, is this a slippery slope? Because we've all seen the talk about whether games are fixed or anything like that. Now, and I talked about this on a video yesterday when it comes to the NCAA and Charlie Baker trying to get prop betting banned. So if you don't understand prop betting, here is how it works. Whether it's Prize Picks, FanDuel, DraftKings, it's not just betting on a game whether you're going to win or lose. You can bet on a particular player's stats. Like, will Kevin Durant score over 26 points tonight? Will he get over 8 rebounds? Will he get, 6 assists? Whatever it is. And every player has props for every single night. Now, we've all seen the stories about Tim Donaghy, the referee cheating, manipulating who wins and loses. Arizona State had a betting scandal. There have been other betting scandals about game fixing. Wouldn't it be a lot easier for whether it's a particular player, a illegal gambling operation, or just bettors in general? Isn't it a lot easier to fix a particular player's stats and win money than it is to fix an entire game? So this is where the leagues have run into, because on one hand, they're taking money from these gambling organizations, from FanDuel, from DraftKings, and gambling responsibly is cool. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I got nothing wrong with it. However, though, you do have to understand that there is inherent risk in allowing people to bet on prop bets because there are so many individual players. And these players have been caught by AI, by the programs themselves that pick up weird betting patterns. So, what if this isn't a Jontay Porter? What if this is actually a player who's really good? Let's say that this is a Bradley Beal type of player, a guy who's a star in the league, who's going to put up shots every night, but that, and also that people are going to bet on him in a night in and night out basis, where an $80,000 bet on Bradley Beal or Kevin Durant or, like a Bam Adebayo, that's not going to trigger the algorithm because people are like, oh, this is just a normal bet on those players. So imagine that. That's where it gets tricky and slippery. Now, to go back to Jontay Porter for a second, the league also found that from January to March of this year, while he was both with the Raptors and the Raptors G League affiliate, that Porter bet on 13 NBA games, not himself, but through somebody else. And that he netted more than $20,000 on bets of $50,000, of more than $50,000, including parlays that had the Raptors losing, but those parlays didn't actually hit. Now, you might be saying, oh man, this is stupid. Why would he ever do this? But think about this. Jontay Porter was having a breakthrough year in the NBA after he went undrafted out of Missouri because he had multiple ACL tears. But Porter, who had only played 11 games in the NBA prior to that, and that was with the Grizzlies in 2020-21, he had just signed a 3-year, $2.4 million deal and was making $400,000 with the Raptors as a two-way player. So if somebody making $400,000 is susceptible to, looking to make some extra change, imagine how it is for college players. So you guys go look at that Charlie Baker and NCAA video from yesterday. But just think about it. I mean, even if you're a player that's making $1 million and you can, and even though it's not the right way to think about it, and you know that you can pick up an extra half million dollars a year, double your salary doing this, or imagine this, or imagine you getting a pinch. Because we've heard of stories where gamblers or people in illegal activity. Imagine a player's family being threatened by the mafia, by gangsters, by whoever, and them saying, hey yo, look, your family will be fine. We just need you to make sure that you hit the overs on the number of 3-pointers that you take, the under on the number of 3-pointers that you make, the under on how many points you score. We need you to get over the rebound like that. That changes how the outcome of the game is, but it may not change the actual result of the game. And that's a lot easier to control. But did the leagues create this themselves? Is this their own doing? Because when you're promoting gambling at the level that the NFL, NBA, MLB, and everybody else is, you're also like gambling caters to who? Mostly men, even though there are women gamblers, mostly to men, and especially men who have disposable income. Because when I was playing in the league, we gambled in the locker room. We gambled with each other on college games, on NBA, whoever that we liked. But it wasn't placing bets with an actual book. It was us betting with each other. And did I know people who gambled with bookies? Yeah. But that's who gambling appeals to, is the people in the locker room. So the leagues have gone down this slippery slope. Even in certain NFL stadiums, you're going to be able to bet during the game at the stadiums. So you're putting your leagues at risk. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with gambling, but you do have to understand that things like this are going to happen. Now, will Jontay Porter being suspended be a hesitation for some players? Yes, absolutely. But gambling's an addiction. It can be an addiction for some people. And if it's an addiction for some people, you are going to have people who have everything to lose be susceptible to it, particularly if they come into the league with a gambling problem already. Now, to go back to the Jontay Porter and the games that he was accused of having something go on. So, according to ESPN, on January 26th, when the Raptors played the LA Clippers, Jontay Porter played just 4 minutes before leaving the game to a supposed re-aggravation of an eye injury that he had a couple days earlier. He finished the game with no points, with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and didn't attempt a 3-pointer. which allowed the under to hit on all four of those categories. Now, the under on Porter's 3-point categories, 3-pointers was the biggest winner for bettors on all the NBA props that day through DraftKings Sportsbook. So you're like, wait, hold up. Jontay Porter, guy on a two-way contract who just came up from the G League, was the most profitable day for bettors. That's going to trigger things. And yes, the league, the DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, ESPN Bet, uh, 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 Prize Picks, whoever, these are the people telling on the players because they want their relationship with the league sound. And also, they do not want their lines being manipulated by players. So the other time was on March 20th when the Raptors played. When the Raptors played as well, they played against Phoenix. He played just 3 minutes before he was ruled out with an illness. Dude finished with no points, 2 rebounds, and missed one shot. And again, all of the unders hit on all of the categories. And his prop bets were again the top money maker on the night on DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, Adam Silver was faced with a situation, and I know that this is the thing that probably keeps commissioners up at night. Please don't let this be one of our star players or let this be any bigger than a Jontay Porter, which we can dismiss as, lone rogue wolf. This isn't going on. But when conspiracy theories continue to rise throughout the leagues about fixed games and, there being a script and agenda, all of these things, this is going to do nothing to quench that. And there's only going to be more conspiracy theories flying when a star player has a weird off shooting night or comes out of a game like Kawhi Leonard. He left the game early, or even a Zion Williamson left the Lakers Pelicans play-in game. I'm not saying that there's anything nefarious there, nor do I think that there is. I'm just saying that that's where the conspiracy theory people are going to latch themselves onto, and they're going to be like, oh, see, look, there it is. But Adam Silver said, quote, there's nothing more important than protecting the integrity of NBA competition for our fans, our teams, and everybody associated with our sport, which is why Jontay Porter's blatant violations of our gambling rules are being met with the most severe punishment. And Silver also said that while legal sports betting creates transparency that helps identify suspicious and abnormal activity, this matter also raises important issue about the sufficiency that the regulatory framework currently in place, including the types of bet offered on our games and players. Notice that the types of bet offered on our games and players. And he said that they're working with relevant stakeholders across the industry, and we will continue to work diligently to safeguard our league and game. Think about that. The types of bets. It's the prop bets that are causing a bigger problem than anything else. And in the world of college sports, think about that. In the world of college football alone, you're dealing with 12,000 athletes. Just college football, college basketball. Like now it makes it so much harder to manage hundreds of thousands of athletes that bets can be placed on, and the people associated with those athletes, because now you're trying to figure out who, why, what, when, where, how these people are connected, how somebody placing a bet in Iowa is connected to somebody in Hawaii. When they don't have the last name, they shouldn't know each other. Phone records may not be there. Those are the things that make it very difficult. That as much as AI, who I'm a believer in, is not going to pick up immediately, because cheaters are and scammers are always ahead of the technology and ahead of the authorities. And this has reared its head in the NFL, because you had Denver Broncos defensive tackle Ioma Oruzake. He got suspended for betting on his games he participated in the NFL. Iowa State even had his starting quarterback, Hunter Deckers, under criminal investigation for betting on games using his mom's account before turning 21. Now that Iowa thing was a whole different situation because that ended up having to get thrown out because they didn't have warrants. They were illegally spying on campuses and all of that. Now, you've had several NFL players being suspended for using gambling apps while at the team facility, on the bus, at the team hotel, or anything like that. Because in the NFL, you can't place a bet on any sport while you are at the team facility, on the bus, anything team activity, you cannot do it. Calvin Ridley got suspended for the entire 2022 season betting on games while he was injured. And players, yes, they know full well that they are not supposed to bet on games. But this is who you're catering to. And there were more players suspended from last year's Detroit Lions team alone than the NFL suspended for gambling in its first 98 years of existence. So on one hand, you can say, "Oh, well, that's good. The technology is working." But you might also say that there is more players gambling than there ever was because of the availability of not only because now a player walking into a casino, especially who has facial recognition, ain't real likely. But now on an app, makes it real easy. Brings it right to your doorstep into it. So with whether it's DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, ESPN, Bet, uh, Prize Picks, any of those things, there's nothing wrong with the consumer and the player playing it. I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with the consumer and the fan participating in it. Like, I'm not demonizing any of those companies, platforms, any of that. But we do have to understand the inherent risk of prop betting on games. It is a no-no. It is going to create more problems than the money is worth. So the leagues where Adam Silver is doing it, the NFL needs to do it. College sports, they have to ban that one product or find a way to um find a way to make it in a different way, or certain numbers that you either have to hit or don't hit as it relates to prop bets, because this is the one area where it gets a lot easier to do nefarious things. Because think about the NBA, very difficult to fix a game, very, very difficult to fix a game. In the NFL, I think it's probably the hardest sport to fix a game because you have to have so many people involved in it. That means that it's going to come out at one point in time or another. So when gamblers can then make more money from not trying to fix a game, but trying to just fix a particular player's stats, that's the gotcha. And that's what the leagues are going to have to get fixed. And you guys, that's Unafraid Show Daily. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, tell a friend. Peace out. Catch you guys next time.